Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And is there sound now? Yes? All right. And good morning. This is Dr. Marissa here on Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Tiki Live, Amazon Music, Rumble, and more. And I am your hashtag positively opinionated host of this show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K words, no Kardashian talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have guests and topic to that, and we've been having wonderful co-hosts. That's what the lineup is. Tomorrow we have Colette Tracy. Thursday we have Straight Talk with Sam. Friday we have Fired Up Fridays with Cynthia Kahi, and on a whole host of topics. And then on Mondays and Tuesdays, I get to have guests or give you a hashtag Dr. Marissa reporting live report, and that's what we're going to do today. I was honored to open day 2 of a symposium at the Anaheim Convention Center. First time back on stage, actually, since hashtag BC19, the time before COVID. And it was a little emotional, I have to say, going there and getting back on stage. But I know I'm very shy. I hate being on front and center stage, and sarcasm is another service that I offer. But I am so grateful that I've got to go and just witness some really amazing keynote speakers when I was in the audience. So I wanted to bring you some of that and to talk about wonder, talk about focus, talk about being present, and the flip side of being present. So that's all on the docket. But before we go to that, and I have a little audio visual recap of that, you know the drill. We start every show with breakfast by taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So you know the drill. If you're driving, turn to the person beside you, or you can talk to yourself. 8 specific things that you're grateful for. And then the bottom of the bun is 8 appreciations. And I don't know, Sam, he's in the background, he's doing my audio. I don't know if he wanted to do it today. I forgot to ask him. We've been testing, those of you who have been bearing with me last week. It's been pretty challenging trying to figure out where the cutouts and the echoes and all of that. So thank you for bearing with me, and as we continue to try to bring you the best possible sound and sight. Those of you who are tuning in with me now, I see the eyeballs. Thank you. You can feel free to chat, and I'll put your comments and questions on the screen, and your gratitude. So what are you grateful for today? First is, I am grateful for continuing to be able to troubleshoot and try to figure out what amongst 8 moving parts is not moving the best possible. So I would love any feedback that you also I know we were grateful for some people saying no sound or there's an echo. So if you can give me feedback on the comments, that would be awesome. I'm grateful that I had a hot shower this morning. I'm grateful that I have this salon pass patch for a little bit of back pain. I'm grateful that my body has been working well and continues to work well. And anytime I have an ache and a pain, it just means that it needs attention. I'm grateful that I love to learn new things. I'm grateful that I love to do things for the first time. I'm grateful that I'm on this NBC news station and have wonderful support from all the people there. And finally, my 8th gratitude is that the Newport Beach Film Festival is coming up. And I do this once a year. I get to introduce the Chinese Spotlight film. So I actually have tickets to give away to the Pacific Showcase. It's amazing. You'll be seeing lion dancing clips in the shows to come. But please go to Newport Beach Film Fest and register and keep it here to win the 2 tickets to the gala. And let's see. The opening night is the 13th of October. Closing night is the 20th. And it is the most diverse film festival in the world, according to Dr. Marissa. And I've been grateful to have been a part of that film festival for a long time now, years. I think we're going on maybe 8 years. But I got to meet Pierce Brosnan there, Tony Hawk there. So you'll have to join me at the Newport Beach Film Festival. And that's it for the top of the bun. The bottom of the bun is, what do you appreciate about yourself? I appreciate that I am positively opinionated. I appreciate that 88% of the time I am caring. I'm grateful. I appreciate that I am imperfectly perfect, that 88% of the time I do what I'm not going to shit on myself, but I do the best that I can. And 12% of the time I step in it. I appreciate that I love life. I love my life. I appreciate that I love helping people. I appreciate that I am relentlessly inspiring most of the time. I appreciate that I love to laugh, and I appreciate that I am funny, even though my husband told me on a very frequent occasion that I wasn't. The best part of divorce for me is owning my funny. And there you go. That is having breakfast with me. Thank you for participating and having a bite of my gratitude sandwich. And now I'm going to play for you a recap of the STEAM Symposium. That is a California STEAM.org. I think it's, CA, California STEAM. I'll have to go look that up because it is one of the best organizations that I have seen that supports California educators, actually educators from all around the world. Fabulous exhibits, amazing speakers. If I do say so myself, I was a keynote last year and I was so happy to see a lot of people who recognized me and came up to me and thanked me when I was virtual. And then getting to Open Day 2 was such an honor, and do some red carpet interviews with people and play a little as well at some of the booths. So enjoy.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
I want to welcome all of you to the 2022 California STEAM Symposium.
Thank you. Everyone laughed. They said you can never be done with blocks of glass. And when I mean blocks of glass, I genuinely mean blocks of glass.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm not talking about those blocks of glass. I'm talking about these 3 solid blocks of glass. Any questions? Great, we're inspiring wonder. Now, when they announced I had won, I didn't hear their name, my name called. I was too busy staring at proof, the right question could change everything, even with the oldest trick in the book. And I decided I don't want to be a magician to trick anybody. I want to be a magician to inspire the same curiosity and wonder that I used to create.
Good morning, this is Dr. Marissa reporting live at the STEAM Symposium. You know me as the Asian Oprah, and you will recognize this guy. I'm just like so proud. Hashtag Asian Pride. This is Jason Latimer. He is the impossible science guy. I'm now calling you the Wonder Boy.
Okay, great.
Okay, because that's what he's inspiring, and I'll be posting a bunch of his stuff all day. But let's see, what's your wish for the world?
I think my wish for the world would be that everybody realizes it's a game without a rule book. You know, it's everybody was born with the ability to wonder, which is amazing because anybody could be wondering about a question that no one's thought of before. So I think we get so wrapped up in what we know that it prevents us from asking a question that would make us feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And those uncomfortable questions are the ones that end up changing everything.
Well, I've never given anybody 3 beneficial presents on the planet award. You begged for the second one, so he's getting the third one today. But your sense of humor is so wicked. I mean, I just love it. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that we connected. I know this connection will be for the rest of my life.
Oh, thank you.
And I wish you well. And I'm going to be the honorary social media godmother to your son.
Please. We're going to make him ask more questions, faster, stronger, better than before.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. ImpossibleScience.com is where he is. YouTube channel. Use his stuff. Please inspire the world because it's all about balance. I forgot to get you to do this. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace.
Oh,
yeah,
thank you.
I knew you would like that.
Thank you.
Thanks. Take care. Have a great time.
So glad you're here. I am Dr. Marissa. I am known as the Asian Oprah. I was actually introduced to Oprah as the Asian Oprah. She looked at me with these pants on and said, "Nice pants." And it took everything for me not to say, "Do you want them?" So what I'd like you to do right now is turn to the person to your whatever, the better looking one. No, I'm just kidding. Just turn to that person, smile, and welcome them to the anniversary of STEAM Symposium. Now I'm going to teach you a little Tai Chi Qigong, and a little happiness coaching. I know you thought I was Swedish, but I'm actually Chinese. So the first thing I'd like you to do is raise your right hand, close it, to show that you come in peace. You're going to hold the peace with this hand, the left hand, so it sort of makes an A. And then I want you to bring it down to heart chakra, do a little bow and say, "Xie, xie." That means thank you in Mandarin. It's my Chinese namaste, and that is S-H-E-A, not S-H-I-T. In, and now make a circle, polishing the table of your life. All right, now, if you see me doing this in the middle of the day, you know someone just pissed me off. So what we're doing here is polishing off the dirt of your life. So we all start with a clean table, no sadness, depression, anxiety, fear, anger, irritation, frustration. But through life experience, that's what happens. Can you think of someone now that just drives you crazy? Put them on the table. Do not put your mother, that's too hard to start. It's not one thing, it's your mother. So what we're going to do now is you're going to breathe and repeat after me, ready? Everybody does the very best they can.
The very best they can.
If they could do better.
If they could do better.
They would.
They would.
But they can't. And I ain't leaving their poop on my table. 谢谢. Thank you for sharing your energy with me.
All right, Dr. Marissa reporting live. This is my first attempt at a hockey, what do you call these things, pucks? No. A hockey shot into the goal. Ready? The eye on the ball.
They also have
creativity. I have a question. Do we really need our accountants to be creative? Creativity is instability. Creativity is it's all over the place. My most creative friends, the ones I love dearly, I don't trust them with my keys, let alone access to my checking account. Like, no, what if the people in that room, what are those accounts, what if they best serve creativity? What if they best serve creativity by not being creative at all? Like, what if their rigidity, what if their attention to detail and form is actually what sets the platform for other creatives to exist?
Wow, that was absolutely beautiful. Was that one of your own compositions?
Yeah.
And I'm Dr. Marissa. I'm so delighted to introduce you to someone who is one of the keynotes at this year's California STEAM Symposium 2022, celebrating 10 years. He just really blew our minds open with thoughts about things that we don't normally talk about. So if you could introduce yourself, and we'll go on the A word in a second. What's your name?
My name is Kight. I'm violinist, composer, writer, speaker.
Yeah, and also helping people feel more comfortable with being awkward. So you mentioned you have autism, and it was something that you learned about yourself late? Is that what I heard?
Very late. Yeah.
Very late.
Yeah.
So how late?
Like 29, 30.
When you were 29 and 30 years
like
old.
very late.
And now, how has that revelation helped you with what you do? I mean, I'm guessing that you've been speaking before you knew about.
Yeah, I think more so it was it changed my concept on even sharing ideas. So a lot of times people say don't give a person a fish, teach them a fish. And I think it's kind of BS because I'm not a fisherman. I don't go on boats that much, but I imagine depending on the climate you're in, depending on the tools you have available, there's probably infinite ways to fish, right? And so for me, the realization changed my thinking because a lot of times I realize when we share ideas, we're trying to guide people towards states of being that their brains aren't actually built for. And so just understanding, I'm doing this, I wake up obsessed about things, and that's just me. Others don't have that experience, and so it kind of made me realize, it may sound silly or very fundamental, but it's just it changed my work and to realize that that rather than kind of pointing people to just one direction, letting them see that there's actually options for them. So even I started today with talking about this idea of being present and how we kind of romanticize the idea of being present, but actually not being present and being your imagination is actually a really useful tool also.
Right.
And so I really enjoy taking these terms that we tend to kind of put on pedestals and kind of realize that they're actually options, and in different contexts, different moments, we need different things.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what the realization of autism has given to me, is that just a flexibility, that there's so many different ways and states of being, and our locking in on just one way is actually what's causing a lot of tension.
The Newtonian thinking that we're so used to in America. You also said something about feedback and how you really were not listening to people unless they gave you blunt feedback. I thought that was an interesting thing that happens, because normally we're told, try to be nice about it, or honey, not vinegar. But is that part of a shift in education
or are you saying that that was for you as
I think it's for me. I think it's also just how my brain works. So it's like, even in friendship or even like relationship, if I don't feel like someone's communicating, if they're just dancing around something, I feel really uncomfortable because it's hard for me to interpret those things. So that means now I have to like go on like brain overdrive to try to figure out, but which is very unnatural for me. So like even one of my closest friends, we had this huge breakthrough this year. And he's British also, so he has all these things where he's kind of being trying to be polite. And I was like, say what you're saying. Like, I know you don't like this. Like, tell me what you're thinking. And like now we're like super close because we can just say the thing. And so I think because it's hard for me to interpret things sometimes, it's like if it's a teacher or a friend or anyone, it's like I feel most comfortable when they just say the thing because now I don't have to like work in a way that's kind of not necessarily my dynamic.
Right. I think it's not brutally honest, but it is kindly direct, is what I call that.
Well, for me, accurate is just accurate.
Okay.
And then I can deal with accurate, because now we can build something on that.
Right.
But if it's not accurate, then it's like, whatever we say, if you can't actually build something off. And it's not for everyone, but if you're in my world, like if you're my teacher, if you're in my, I call it like in my practice room of life, like if you're in my close thing, I'm trying to build something with you. And so if we're not building on an accurate foundation, there's nothing we can actually,
Same level playing field, same page of music, same score, all of that. Last question. What is it like for you to speak to an audience like this for STEAM or for you running? What was your feeling impression?
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of thoughts, especially last night as I was just kind of going to bed thinking about my own experiences and I think today, like even sharing that with my own like background and my own brain chemistry, it's the first time I've done that on stage. Really. And it was just, and I probably won't. I don't know if I'll necessarily do it that. Like, it's not like a regular thing. I share. Like this is just today, and so I felt like for me, a lot of the process of the past year or two of me sorting through that has been realizing all of these childhood moments when I felt like I was in environments in which I was kind of being squeezed into something that I actually wasn't, and then and so I wanted to share that stuff today because these are the folks that will be creating the environments, and that's incredibly important. And now I'm like in my 30s and I'm still thinking through those things that might have been suppressed or masked and all that stuff, and so I think it's that important. So that inspired me. That's why I shared that stuff.
Yeah, I'm really glad you did, because the most poignant thing you said for me was your friend's reaction to finding out you have autism, and they said, don't let them label you with that and all that, and you said, I don't see it as something that's as an insult or something wrong with me. It is just something.
I mean, that's been the interesting thing for me, because it's like getting this diagnosis later is like, it's interesting because it's like I've also spent the last 8-9 years of my life with people bringing me out to share how my brain works. I've been sharing unique ideas that are just based on how I think, and so I think because of that I have there's a confidence behind it. It's like, clearly there's something that's of value here.
Exactly. So I was just about to use the V word. So totally of value.
Clearly there's something of me seeing things. Like there's awkwardness. There's like points of tension with me not necessarily having like always the biggest community and things like that. But it's like I'm clearly that difference or dichotomy is also really helpful, because like I can see things that maybe may not be as like clear.
There's value now to thinking outside of the box. There's value now for even diagnoses. I think that's the beautiful thing about autism. I've almost always seen it as, I know that there's something special there, that it's not one less or anything less. Well, there's a value added there somewhere.
It's funny. It's funny also getting this language now, and then it's I don't know. There's just so many funny moments where it's like it's like the term like special interest. So like I don't know how familiar you are with it, but essentially I'll have like very narrow but deep interests. So like I listen to the same piece of music 30 times. Like I don't listen. I don't have a very curious brain. It's just I do one thing and I do it like deeply. So for sometimes if I'm doing that to others, it'll look like work, or it'll look like me doing like discipline, like kind of all these like kind of capitalist terms I'll put on it. But it's just like me feeling like I'm solving a puzzle. And so I'll have friends that will try to like keep up with me because they think I'm like kind of like grinding or whatever. But I was just like, no, this is relaxing.
Right.
And so it's funny to like to learn it late, because like now in my 30s, it's like, okay, I have my way of doing things, and it's like I know what works for me. It's like, oh, yeah, it's funny to kind of have language for it now.
Yes.
After I've kind of already found my way to live with it and like do well. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, this is what's happening. Yeah.
Definitely. And thank you for sharing a little time and a little part of you. I think you're one of a kind, wonderful. Just so much as everybody else is too. Yes?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So this is the Invisible TV, and I'm at Impossible Science with my new assistant, Tana. And if you look, that's me. That's so cool. I can only see it with these glasses on, and the lens is the same as what she's doing there. That's pretty cool. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace, through an invisible camera. First time for everything.
I love it.
Ready? And it's Dr. Marissa. You know me as the Asian Oprah, reporting live from the California STEAM Symposium, and I'm at the booth of my new nephew / little brother, Jason Latimer. You saw all of the stuff that I was so amazed with. He's a boy wonder. And this is the invisible booth of his, and it's all science, not magic. Go to impossiblescience.org. This is Dr. Marissa, balancing out the bad news with good news. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace.
The whole time you're awake, your brain is generating what's called metabolic waste. One scientist called it brain cell poop, which I to understand. So it's building up the whole time you're awake, it's brain cell poop in your brain. And when you go to sleep, when you get into the 7th or 8th hour of sleep, what happens is your cerebral spinal fluid channels open, and a kind of watery fluid rinses through your brain, and that brain cell poop is carried out of your brain, down into your kidneys, and eventually out of your body. If you don't get 8 hours sleep a night, that metabolic waste just stays clogging up your brain. You know that feeling when you're tired and you feel hungover? You're not wrong. Your brain is literally clogged up. This is why, by the way, people who get less than 7 hours sleep a night are much more likely to develop dementia, because you're going through your whole life with your brain clogged up.
This is Dr. Marissa reporting live at the California STEAM Symposium. You know me as the Asian Oprah, and you know that I love finding very interesting people. And Johann Hari.
I know the non-Asian Oprah as well.
He just did a great talk on, based on his book, Stolen Focus. He just agreed to come on my show. But what is something that we can all do very quickly every day to get back focused?
By install on your phone and laptop Freedom, which is an app that cuts you off either from specific websites you might be addicted to, like Instagram, or the entire internet, and also buy something called a K-Safe, which is a plastic safe. I feel like a QVC person now. Plastic safe where you take off the lid, you put in your phone, you put on the lid, and it locks your phone away for anything between 5 minutes and a whole day. And stretch the amount of time you use it every day as you start to get your focus back.
Because we can only focus on one thing at a time.
Exactly.
Yes, wonderful. So this is something I do at the end of every show. Peace in.
Peace in.
Peace out.
Peace out. Isn't that
world peace?
Yeah.
Through inner peace.
Through inner peace.
Yeah. See, that part you like. Yeah.
Yes.
I know, but I know in Britain one of these is not
that's
good.
extremely offensive.
So you have to do the whole
If
thing.
anyone's watching this in Britain, she made me do it.
It's so nice to meet
Oh,
you. Can't wait to have you on my show.
Thank you so much. Great.
world was exploring the world. What if the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, little girl, turns into how many streets of life you want to explore? What if the purpose of life is not to die with the most toys to leave our squabbling relatives? What if the purpose of life was to do things that we enjoy most of the time, have relationships that we enjoy most of the time, and use our unique talents, gifts, and abilities to fully express in the dash between birth and death? What if, as a direct result of this horrible pandemic, we could rise out of the ashes with a new PPP, post-pandemic possibilities? The sooner you turn "it's impossible" to "I'm possible," the what ifs become possible too. Because you are loving, lovable, and loved, wrapped in a warm blanket of worthiness. But it may start with getting out of bed and making it. What if starts with
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. Can you hear me now? You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News and NBC Sports radio station, KCAA AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube channel, where I'm so grateful. We're over 275,000 views, and it is accessible to you to leave your comments. You can watch and listen, as well as my LinkedIn and my Facebook stream. So plenty of ways to listen, watch, interact. You can also, on my YouTube channel, get my red carpet playlist with interviews with The Temptations, Jimmy Fallon, Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, and so many more. So please do free subscribe there on my YouTube channel. And for those of you who know, I am one of the sponsors and promoters of the Savan Theater. They are one of my show sponsors. I just wanted to let you know that the Stylistics are coming in 10 days. Judy Collins is going to be at the Saban on the 15th of October, giving away tickets for that next week. Let's see, actually giving those tickets away, I think on Thursday's show with Sam. Temptations are coming on the 13th of January, Gordon Lightfoot, the 9th of December, Engelbert Humperdinck, Kenny Loggins, Paul Anka, Stone Temple Pilots, you name it. There's Carol Burnett. There's so many great entertainers. We have to go back and support the arts because they did take a huge hit, and the venues as well during COVID. So go to Saban.org, Saban Theater, or where music meets the soul.com and get your tickets there. Or keep it tuned here because you could win a pair for Asian Oprah giveaways. All right, and we're coming back now to talk about some of the things that I learned that were really interesting, that I think you might find interesting too, from the STEAM Symposium. That's for educators, and the first fabulous keynote speaker that I heard, I'm sorry I missed the women speaker on the first day. I was speaking somewhere else, so I couldn't go. But I did have Jason Latimer, who I'm calling my Wonder Boy. He was my guest earlier last week, so you'll have to watch that full interview. But the thing that struck me about what Jason said at the conference or at the symposium that he emphasized, and I didn't realize quite the extent of what he was saying until I saw all of his demonstrations on stage. And if you're on my social media, I think I have like 7,000 or 8,000 views on my Instagram for the little clips that I put on. He won the World Championships with, you know, that cup where there's a ball underneath and you try to follow the cups to find the ball. He did a clear plastic, which I put on the little clip there, clear plastic, so you could actually watch the balls move around, which was crazy. But his point of doing that and realizing that magic is about keeping information from you. That you want them to wonder, but you're not going to give away how it's done. And what he realized is that it's more edifying for him to actually explain the science behind things. So he actually scientifically adds wonder and magic to learning. And the thing that he pointed out is there's always been answers to bridges, how suspension bridges, things that we leave to engineers, or things like flight. All of these answers are available to us if we ask the right question. And we don't ask questions except to look for solutions and answers without thinking that you could possibly come up with the solution yourself. And that's what hit me as an aha, is that when we ask a question on Google, we're relying on other people to give us those answers when it's possible that there's a different question to inspire a different answer. And the other, not problem, but opportunity for improvement is, if you think about it, you click on the most popular answer. But what if that most popular answer isn't the best answer? But because people are clicking on it, it goes to the top ranking. And our whole marketing, sales, ranking, keywords, there's a whole billion-dollar industry around that now. And it's focused around the most popular answer, which is not necessarily the wonder answer or the innovative answer or the exploration or ingenuity or innovative answer. So it really behooves us to stop for a second, and instead of clicking on that top one, when by the time, even if you don't agree with it, it's already too late. You've now added to its popularity. It's going to show up in the search engine. Are we allowing AI to take us away from the openness of wonder, the openness of asking different questions? So that was just like boom for me. That was a wonderful opening for my mind. The next keynote that I heard was Kight, and I was asking Sam to raise the volume, but I tried to raise the volume when I was making the clip, and his voice is so quiet, but there's something about it's not that he does it purposefully, that is kind of who he is, but it illustrates how we are so conditioned to make people the way we want them. And he learned late in life, 29, 30, that he had autism. And I loved his story. His friend, when he shared that with his friend said to him, "Oh, you're not the diagnosis. Don't let that, define you. Don't let that, be something that brings you down," so to speak. He was saying it in a kind, caring, loving way, but I loved Kai's response to him was, "Hey, I'm not saying this or giving you this information for you to judge me or judge autism. I don't see it as something that is less than. I don't see it as something that is going to take me down or bring me, down a level." And that just blew me away as well. It also reinforced my BS, my belief system, that I think autism is it is like the superpower that we can't see because we're judging people with autism through the lenses of the majority of what people are supposed to think, say, do, perform, and all of that. So that was one of the things. The other thing that was blew me away about Kai is his take on being present. And, we hear about this all the time. Be present, be in the moment, be, mindful. And his point was, do we really want people to be mindful if the present sucks? and it's like, wow, yeah. I mean, where is our work and our responsibility to change our present so that it is something that is easier to be present for? Something to think about. And then finally, I'm going to lose it. There was one more thing. I wrote all this out, by the way, and I can't find it. So I'm going on memory. But his talk. I don't know if you go to STEAM Symposium, California STEAM Symposium, you might be able to purchase all of the keynotes, and that definitely is something to look at, because these speakers were amazing. But go look him up. He speaks in a lot of places. I'm sure he has some YouTube stuff, but just so inspiring of an artist. He's a creative. Oh yes, the last thing, which was actually on the clip, which is he gave me something to think about my own BS around creativity, because I say a lot that everyone can be creative. Everybody's born creative, meaning that everyone has a unique one-of-a-kind talent. So he sort of agrees with me there, but he's saying he doesn't want an accountant to be creative. He wants an accountant to have those rigid rules. You don't want your pilot to be creative. You want your pilot, as he's flying the plane, to follow certain systems and processes and not get creative. So I totally get that. So it is, for me, understanding too, and reinforcing that everybody has a unique gift, talent, and ability, and it might not be creativity. So to honor the accountants who are not creative, or the engineers, or we all have this beautiful place in the discovery of life. That's what I got from his talk. And then finally, Johann Hari was funny, funnier than heck. And yes, do not make this sign the other way in Britain, but I do peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace, because in our country, this is not a bad thing, but don't do that in England. Here's the thing. I pride myself in my ability to do many things at the same time. And I got educated, studies, and he, really goes through science, and they are very clear that you can only do one, maybe two at max things at the same time. So if you are like me, who thinks that they can juggle 8 balls in the air at the same time, you are right. You are juggling, but you are going back and forth from different things. So you're not doing them in series. You're doing them in parallel. So you have to go from here to here to here to here. And the problem with that is, which I discovered from his talk, is, let's say you're focused on one thing. So I am writing an article and I get a text. So I'm writing away and I'm in the zone and I'm doing all this stuff. Whatever you're doing, you can liken it to that. And then you get a text because you leave your phone on, right? Just in case something incredible, someone incredible is going to text you. And you look away and say, I'm just going to respond to this text. And you do that, you do it quickly, and then you go back. The studies show that it takes you 32 minutes to re-achieve that same focus that you had before the text came. And that is why you are much less effective than had you not been interrupted or multitasking or multi-available as we tend to be. And that blew my mind too. So next time you think you can toggle between, remember the 32 minutes. That's why they did a study splitting up people who smoked before doing these series of tasks and people who were multitasking doing the same task. The weed smokers dropped 5 IQ points. The multitaskers dropped 10 IQ points. Can you freaking believe that? I'm like, oh crap. Because I have some judgment on, I think that this is my BS, my belief system, that smoking weed over a long period of time takes away your sharpness. It does chill you out, but it also dulls you up. That's my opinion. And so I was not pleased to hear that I lose more IQ points being who I am than a pot smoker. So anyways, so that was super interesting to find out. So he also talked about other things that stop your focus. He has a great book out called Stolen Focus. And it really, again, blew my mind on all the different ways we are shooting ourselves, shooting our minds in the foot, both as a country, dumbing ourselves down as a country, the additives that we put in food. He talked about the M&Ms in England are not as bright as the M&M in the States because of all the additives. He talked about, brain poop. That if we don't get 7 hours, I believe, of sleep, we're not allowing for the clearing. Apparently there's some brain fluid that clears and washes through the brain poop that collects during the day as you're thinking about all the things and multitasking. So you need the 7 hours of sleep to wash those out. Otherwise, you're basically in that state of brain fog, or hungover. When I used to drink, that next day was just like the complete waste of a day. That's one of the best things about not drinking is I have clear days, 365 clear days, unless I don't get enough sleep. Now, this is interesting. I get 5 hours and I'm good. But based on the research, I last night I actually tried, I didn't put the alarm on, but I automatically woke up in 5 hours. So we'll see. Who knows if I get 7 hours, if I'm going to be even more whatever I am. So we'll see about that. But our food, the additives, the multitasking, the constantly being distracted by incoming texts, incoming all of this stuff, we are not as effective. And so I'm going to try to get them on the show, but I wanted to give you this preview, especially, thank you for that thumbs up, especially for people who really believe, like myself, that they are just, this is the way it is. We're multitaskers, especially women who think that we are better because we can do a lot of things. And it really has challenged that BS for me, is how focused am I? So remember those 23 minutes that it's going to take you to get refocused. It does validate one of the gender differences that I do have talked about before, that they do research on, the ability for most men to be single focus orientation versus multi-focus orientation. And when they do tasks, the neurons for men, just like in one part of the cortex, goes ding, 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 whereas women are ding, 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 which is better, neither. But the benefits of single focus orientation is that really pure focus to deliver. They usually, get the task done faster and more intensely. The bad news is you are very difficult to get you to focus on something else. And most women, on the other hand, the benefit is you can talk to your mom, yell at your kids, do the laundry, do the dishes, make dinner, all at the same time. But the bad news is about multi-orientation is you walk in a room and you go, now what was I supposed to do here? Because you're distracted. That's the downside. So his work really highlighted that actually we're all shooting ourselves in the foot when we live by this, that the constant interrupting or constant distraction or constant just squirrel, I call it, is really hurting our ability to have an amazing pure focused life. So something to think about. So that is my recap and synopsis of an amazing weekend with some incredible, I love science. I think that we unfortunately have moved as a nation, especially during COVID, to question and to poo-poo something that is so important. Medical science and the research and the pure empirically based research that people do. This is not just, oh, I have an idea, or I think that, or someone plants some BS belief system that is just crazy. But because of AI and what we do with our phones, our smart phones, we create this issue for ourselves that we're fighting about things that aren't even true. So, yeah, hopefully you've gotten a little bit out of that. I know I'm out of time. I really am grateful that we're figuring some of the technological difficulties out. If you are at all interested in being a guest on my show, getting your stuff promoted, or becoming a sponsor, which I always need in this like-minded, love-hearted show, then please do contact me at drmarissa.life or just book a chat at drmarissa1.youcanbook.me. All right. That is it for today's fabulous rendition of Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And tomorrow, do tune in to Real Woman Talk with Colette Tracy and Dr. Marissa. We're going to talk about the image of older women in the media and what that says about our generation, changing the image and narration of how women have always been seen in media. That's tomorrow. Thursday is Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa. We continue to flirt and talk about being single. And then Friday, Fired Up Fridays with Cynthia Kahi here on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. Now go forth and have the best day ever. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. See you.